still on justice for Mohbad. So Primeboy, as he promised, he said he was going to drop it exactly as it is. Recall that Primeboy was supposed to be the fall guy for the demise of Mohbad alongside the nurse. Primeboy is supposed to be the instigator and the person that made Mohbad bleed profusely, according to the police. And the nurse, the unqualified nurse, auxiliary nurse as they are called, is the one that finally dealt the blow that put an end to Mohbad by administering medication that she's not qualified to administer. This is what Wunmi and supporters and our fans, a group of wickedness. This is all that they plotted, and this is all that they decided to feed social media. In fact, they wanted to use one stone to drop more than two birds. They wanted to include Kotsi Shekpeteri, Kotsi Bush Baby. You know who these two people are. They are retired actress, even though they are not tired yet. But what they chose to do is something sinister. They wanted to include Naira Marley in this fall. And they said Naira Marley and Sam Larry had bullied Mohbad, and that they are the ones that brought about the demise of Mohbad, even though they were not physically present. Now, I'm not saying that someone could not have had injuries and trauma and a lot of health crisis issues on him, and with other issues joined together, the person somehow could not hold himself anymore. The center broke apart and everything, fell into pieces, into disarray. But there is something in all of this talk. There is something in all of this talk. And the way Wunmi somehow found a way to remove herself from being responsible for anything. She claimed that she is the prime witness, but she has nothing to tell us. As a witness, nothing to tell us, nothing at all. So we are wondering if she is the prime, non-existent, so-called wife of Wunmi, of Mohbad, because we don't really get it at all. Well, Primeboy, yes, Primeboy decided to drop that bombshell that we all have been waiting for. We've been waiting for this for a long time. A lot of people had tried to compel him to speak prior to the inquest, and they had been dropping one or two here and there. But this time around, Primeboy decided to do the needful. I want you guys to pay attention to this. From the beginning of it till the end. This justice for Mohbad, it will not come to an end. We will not put an end to it because they plotted amongst themselves and they came up with this false narrative. We will not put an end to it. Let us get right into it.
Ló lájà.
Nǹkan tí Wunmi fi jáde tó ní ká má fún wọn Primeboy ní relevance ipò lè lọ fẹ́ kọ ọkọ òun lọ́la. Primeboy sọ ní my point. Primeboy sọ wípé.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa mute, ẹ bá wa mute. Ẹ tẹ́wọ̀n bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, ẹ bá wa mute. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má interject ẹ o.
Primeboy sọ wípé CCTV camera ó ń ṣiṣẹ́. Mohbad pé òun nígbà tó install ẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́. That's number one. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ wípé Primeboy tún jẹ́ kó yé wa pé ìdí tí wọ́n fi jà argument tí wọ́n sọ nínú mọ́tò ni pé Mohbad sọ wípé ọmọ àlè ni Liam. Ọmọ àlè tó pé Liam òun ló gba ìbínú lójú àwọn màdàmú.
Ìyẹn ni Wunmi fi make sure kó pa.
Òun ló gba ìbínú lójú wọn tó sọ wípé àwọn virgin làwọn. So update tí ó ṣì ń jà àwọn tó ń ṣàmú update yẹn jáde lẹ́yìn kọ̀ọ̀kan mẹ́ta tó ń ṣì mú jáde. Wọ́n ti ń ka toxicologist because kí lorúkọ ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ tán, Primeboy ti sọ̀rọ̀ tán, but ó sọ oríṣi, ó ṣàfún wa ní àwọn tangible point tó jẹ́ pé a máa rí dìmú tá a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Ó jẹ́ kó yé wa pé case close o bàbá mi, ó ti sọ fún wa pé Liam ọmọ àlè ni Liam. Ẹ má dẹ̀ gbàgbé pé lánàá náà tí àǹtí jáde àǹtí jẹ́ kó yé wa wípé òun ti plan láti mú àbúrò òun jáde kúrò ní Nàìjíríà tí kò bá ń ṣe wípé gbogbo wọn ṣe rí ẹni àná lára ń ta lọ́rọ̀ Kàrímọ́ ara ibi tí wọ́n ti já sí kólóbó ni wọ́n jọ ní plan yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ ni ìgbà tí ọkọ àbúrò ẹ̀ kú nítorí pé òun lọ sí ẹ́mbásì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ gbé sá lọ ni kí ni rísì tẹ́ ṣe fẹ́ gbé sá lọ so wọ́n fi ọ̀bẹ ẹ̀yìn jẹ Kàrímọ́ ní.
Mohbad ṣe ń sọ fún wọn sìn pé ẹ sọ nǹkan tó ṣe wò ṣe rí yẹn ẹ lọ mo ti tẹnumọ́ December 25 ọdún yìí gbogbo wọn kò ní sẹ́ni tó gbogbo wọn tó lọ́wọ́ ló kó ẹ̀ kò ní sẹ́ni tó máa rí Christmas ọdún yìí nù wọn gbogbo wọn àti kékeré o àti ní títóbi wọn o gbogbo wọn tó lọ́wọ́ sínú ikú bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn wọn ò ní rí Christmas ọdún yìí lágbára lọ́rùn. Because when you just sit down and you listen to what is happening, you be like, you know, now. Our kids, you know, no wonder, now, what is happening on this right here? Now, what is on Fupa there? And I'm about to open on Fupa there.
That.
That get no mind that one. Only one I do for there. You know, this are your baby, she laba. Well, like on she. Now, that is why, whether you like it or yes, in fact, I now see a reason when she too, in some weeks back, he was telling the team, we only trust in DNA, we can phone, we only trust, we can't do what DNA phone. And I've now seen the reason why to be told. Most of your money, if with all due respect, if to buy Odrumosu on ground, and it should be another different ball game entirely. But it's not on ground. You know? And it did but what we are hearing today it's not a surprise to me because it's what we've been expecting. I want to let them the son has made a prayer to invite Wunmi back, to invite Adura back, to invite Arusha back. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Once you were in Inquest.
Àwọn mélòó ló lọ sí Inquest lónìí àti plus Primeboy. Àwọn mélòó ló wà ní Inquest lónìí.
No, mo bá Gúrẹ́sì sọ̀rọ̀ tán láìpẹ́ ìgbẹ́ tó jọ ní ìgbà mo wà lọ́dọ̀ yìí mo bá gbogbo wọn. And he's still inside the Inquest, you know.
No, pé àwọn mélòó ló máa sọ̀rọ̀ lónìí mo mean.
I think it's just basically the autopsy toxicology prime. Means expect one should one medicine now because based on that magistrate, that judge, or the man close in But I said it in the last one that body language Taiwo. I mean wild shit to body language but she short press release to interview body language this guy go to talk to kilo fair favorable body. One look at the neighbor, one look to toss okay to for Jubani. Okay. Let's
all right. Thank you very much.
I need to close then you go my disease so hello wa hello shetin at the chicken a big grill.
Onílò ní jẹ.
All about together lady.
Ó máa lana papọ̀ ni.
Àdẹ̀kùn show àná àti àwọn tí ò jẹ́ kí our sister wa to
Bá wa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó contribute lánàá.
Yeah, once again to everyone that rose up to Arifa's
because lẹ́yìn tí a gba owó yẹn tán tí máa wo owó yẹn padà mo fi hàn kíní lónìí I still met like 300 plus again.
Okay. But we want to thank everyone that contributed to Arifa's
release
process of getting freedom. We appreciate everyone. it was emotional, buha, the whole thing started. But we thank God. That shows that truly speakingly, we are for justice for Mohbad.
Adé ṣé nǹkan tó ń sọ fún wa ń sìn yìí toxicology tán náà gbé lọ Amẹ́ríkà wá ṣe òun náà sọ fún wa pé wọn ò rí result torí para Mohbad ó ti ń decompose kó tó di pé wọ́n gbé òkú ọjọ́ mẹ́jọ wọ́n ń ṣe toxicology lórí òkú ọdún kan.
ọdún 20 years ago mama Nikki 20 years ago wọ́n ṣe autopsy 20 years.
They said they cannot ascertain the cause of the death because the body has started decomposing. The judge has said they should put everything on the screen. It's going to be an emotional minutes in that court today, because when they display that picture, I'm sure people are going to cry. That is why Baba had to leave. Will be advised to step aside. Now, how can 8 days decompose that the toxicology and autopsy cannot ascertain? Kilo day now. Kilo day, why now? Why are we like this? Why are we like this?
Hold on, job. Hello.
Ọ̀dà láti ẹjọ́ mo ní waste time yín ẹ káàárọ̀ ẹ káàsán ẹ kálẹ́. Ṣé ti rí reason tí Wunmi tó fi ń sọ wípé kó dúró de result toxicology.
Ṣé mi ò sọ wípé mi ò dúró de? Èmi ò dúró de. Èmi ti sọ fún yín.
Kò kí ń ṣe bọ́dì Mohbad. Ibi tí wọ́n bá ní agbára dé fún àṣà agbára yẹn Ọlọ́run ní agbára jù wọ́n lọ because these people they are evil. Agbára tí Wunmi ń lò kò kí ń ṣe agbára ẹ̀. Ẹ̀rí tí ẹ̀gbọ́n ètò ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń jábọ́ ó dẹ̀ máa jábọ́ ni because these people why would they say pé body Mohbad tí wọ́n exhume pé ó ti decompose within how many days was the body not preserved? Why they be so evil? Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ẹ̀yin people ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ̀rù ọjọ́ tẹ́ máa sùn tí ò ní jí mọ́. Ìyá Mohbad Karimo Solano only say ìyá Mohbad bá lẹ́nu only Wunmi will be finished because ó mọ̀ pé Wunmi ló pa ọmọ òun ó dẹ̀ ń bò ó. Ikú burúkú ni gbogbo wọn máa kú lágbára tọ́lọ́run fi jẹ Ọlọ́run ẹ má jẹ́ waste time yìí mo ń gbọ́ everything tẹ́ ń sọ sà ẹ tẹ́kẹ̀.
Nígbàlá ti fẹ́ tí àlè ti ti wa ni ṣì bá ti sọ pé ká ṣe ti ti wa.
Yà á bá sọ.
Nígbà tó ti fẹ́ parọ́ fún wa ṣe ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká gbójú wọn ká carry tiwa out. Okay.
Ó yá ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ sáré sọ̀rọ̀.
At this point, Sherry, okay, sorry.
Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin lẹ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀.
Okay. Sherry, bí mo ṣe gbọ́ torí mò ń wo ní broadcast yẹn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan mo wà lórí program. Omi dẹ̀ fẹ́ bọ́ lójú mi. Sherry, kò sí, let me just try and compose myself. Kò sí òbí tó máa rí irú àwọn kan báyìí. Baba is crying. Honestly, I'm watching it. I'm also like, I don't know.
All right.
Ọba àbí president orílẹ̀-èdè kan ò lè kú kí wọ́n fà kó pélé wọn ti dákẹ́. But because I think that Nigerians now wọ́n ti rí pé things are just going anyhow. Nigerian youth wọ́n ti rí pé kí ló dé ẹ̀dẹ̀ fẹ́ sọ wá di ẹran ẹ fẹ́ máa pa wá ká má wá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ò bá ti lówó tí ò ti léèyàn tí ò ti mọ̀yàn tí ò ti ní godfatherism they can slaughter you, eat you, nothing will happen. Nígbà tí wọ́n bá sọ pé body ó decompose níbo ni àwọn èèyàn ti wá òkè ní ṣèbí wọn gbé lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà ni so wọn gbé lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà mọ́ Amẹ́ríkà tó gbé lọ wọn rí result mú wá fún wa.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ yá wa ní 1 minute lọ́dọ̀ yẹn ni ẹ jọ̀ọ́ yá mi 1 minute wọn ò rí result ẹ lọ ẹ sáré sọ̀rọ̀.
Ṣáájú mi tọ́ la ti pé.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?
Ṣé ni pé nígbà tí ọmọbìnrin yẹn bá gómìnà fà nígbà yẹn ṣé ni pé wọn ò ṣe nǹkan kan nígbà yẹn ìgbà tí pẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọlé ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sẹ́ndì anything wọ́n fi ọmọ yẹn sílẹ̀ níbẹ̀ nígbà yẹn ni tí gómìnà tó ń kí fún ọmọbìnrin yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n ṣe anything ayé Nàìjíríà ò lè dá mọ́ ayé àwọn olórí burúkú tó láwọn rúùlù kò lè dá mọ́ bí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe Nàìjíríà àwọn olórí burúkú bá láwọn ń rúdú wọn ní nàìjíríà ayé gbogbo wọn ò ní da ẹ ṣe.
ó yá máa sọ lọ ẹ bá ẹ round up ẹ máa tètè bá wa ṣe.
because ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré parí ọ̀rọ̀ mi ṣe rí lóòótọ́ ni. màmá nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ làwọn náà ti bọ́ trend yẹn wọn ò ṣe anything nígbà yẹn ẹ gbogbo àti woman yẹn tó stood up tó ń sọ fún gómìnà pé kí ni ẹ wo bí gómìnà ẹ wo reply gómìnà sí woman yẹn ẹ ti rí pé kò sí tara bí amọ̀gàn lára gómìnà yẹn gbogbo wa dé la bímọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹni tó dùn mí fún jù don't let me even mention all this governor or something ẹni tó dùn mí fún jù is ìyá Mohbad ó fẹ́ lọ́mọ ẹ nígbà tó wà láyé ó dẹ̀ tún fẹ́ ilé ẹ̀ nígbà tó kú tán wọ́n ṣe owó náà fẹ́ fi rà ẹ́ ni àbí kí ni àdúrà dùn mí tìyá ẹ dùn mí even ti blessing ó dùn mí púpọ̀ Mohbad wá fi gbogbo àwọn tó yí ká pátápátá ẹ̀gún ni wọ́n ní pé ààyè lọ̀rẹ́ dùn mọ́ tó bá ti kú tán ogbó ò lè kan ni mi rò pé àwọn pípò yìí wọ́n mọ ìjìnlẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí ẹni tó bá ti kú tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ṣe dáadáa ẹ lè rógùn ẹ̀ kẹrò pé ẹ fẹ́ fi ṣe nǹkan rẹ̀ láyé.
A lot of people expected this. They never had that trust in the so-called toxicology and autopsy. In fact, there are people who are of the opinion that there is and was no autopsy or samples of Mohbad remain shipped, flown to nowhere in the US. The government simply said all of this to calm down the tension. They thought that it's just social media frenzy. You know, they often want to downplay the intelligence or the tenacity of the youth. They believe that social media is just a faceless and a useless conduit, and it can be blocked at any time. It's just a useless tunnel that people pass through, go through to vent out whatever it is. That's what they believe. Not until they realize that people are not going to stop. People are not going to stop with their terrible response all this while. About 5 months ago, even the governor of Lagos State, what he said didn't go down well with a lot of people, because a case like this happened back then. It's a young boy called Sylvester Oromoni. Autopsy, toxicology report and all of that came out, but no one got arrested for whatever it is. It seems people just pass away like that. In the case of Mohbad, according to the report, Mohbad passed away, and the cause of Mohbad's demise, even though the state's resources are allegedly used, because we don't even believe state resources had been put into use to get the samples of Mohbad down to the US. So with all of this, with everything flown to the US, flown to the UK, flown everywhere, flown, with the ambiguous medical jargons, the end of it is this: the cause of demise of Mohbad cannot be ascertained. They said they needed time to study the report of the autopsy and the toxicology to see if there is any correlation, if there is any connection to foul play, such as poisoning, substance abuse, and whatever it is that they, or let us say, physical examination. Now, Mohbad had passed away and he was exhumed, I think, after some couple of days. People are angry, saying, no, it is not true. How can you say the remains of Mohbad are decomposed to a point where they could not get the results and answers? Are we going to blame the police that refused to give Mohbad's father what he needed to take Mohbad to the morgue? What exactly is going on here? So people had said, what about countries where people passed away for a long time and they are still able to? Now, I'm not going to go deep into pathology because you need to be a professional. You need to be deeply rooted in the knowledge of pathology for you to understand the decomposition, the extent of it, what they are really looking at, because pathology is wide. Cause of demise will have to be specific. What are we looking at? Are we looking at poisoning, toxicology? Are we looking at substance abuse? Are we looking at the physical examination? So people said, okay, what about the physical exam? Did you guys look at the body of Mohbad if there are cuts? If there are cuts, or Mohbad's body was damaged to a point where they could not see through it, or the individual in charge of it is not that is not that knowledgeable in what he needs to do, or they just ganged up among themselves and said, look, let us do what we normally do. Citizens are inconsequential. Whatever brings about their demise should not be looked into, and even if we are forced to look into it, we will not come out with any reasonable answers to it. Let them know that they are useless. But if it were the son of the governor of Lagos State, or the governor of any state in Nigeria, the 36 states, if it were the son of the president, if it were the daughter of the president, if it were the wife, the niece, the nephew of the president, just imagine the previous administration. This boy bought a motorbike. It does not work, but he got a lot of money from his father being the president. He bought 2 state-of-the-art machine. That's what I'm going to call it. Power bikes. State-of-the-art. Shipped in from Germany to Nigeria to cruise around the Central Capital Territory, Abuja. Somehow, he had an accident, fell. Immediately, he was shipped out of Nigeria, flown out of Nigeria to Europe. I don't know, maybe Germany, where they treat accidents that comes from riding power bikes. They shipped him there immediately for medical attention. Immediately, they shipped him there. Immediately, with diplomatic passport, they shipped him down there to get medical treatment. They got results. I don't know if he has concussion, if he's fine, if there are other, I don't know. But we saw the swift response and how they went about it. This is what we are talking about. I'm not saying this is only specific to Nigeria. No, these things happen all over the world. It happens all over the world where the so-called elite, certain people are giving the extra. But in this case, it is worse. It is worse. When I say worse, yes, believe me, it is worse. So worse and terrible. So worse and terrible. So Primeboy went there, did his thing. He promised he was going to speak and say all that he knows. He claimed that Mohbad had not accepted, never accepted Liam as his son per se. That it was just the compelling of this person, that person, advice, suggestion here and there that kept him calm. He kept on repeating that CCTV had been repaired and is functioning, and Mohbad needed it in that house because of safety. That Mohbad would never have lived in that house without CCTV because he was fearful for his life. He said a lot of things there. they are still going to have another sitting. Maybe they are going to have 2 more sitting, 3 more sitting, I don't know, because the nurse has not been called to speak. The nurse has not been called to speak. The police are supposed to do the needful, bring in the nurse to be quizzed, to be queried, to be questioned. Yes, she's going to say all that she knows, maybe hide 1 or 2, but during cross-examination, I'm very sure that she will be able to say more. This is bad. This is so bad. When I say bad, just believe me that this is bad. This is bad. This is not supposed to be. Nigerians are angry, and I'm thinking that there's going to be a wave of protest. And that is what it is, because people stayed calm and kept quiet all this while because they were waiting on this autopsy, toxicology. They want to be civil. They don't want to take laws into their hands and do whatever. They said, okay, let's come and get to the root of this one. And I'm also very sure that Wunmi will be restless now. That DNA must be done. There is nothing that is going to stop that DNA from being done. That DNA must be done, because that's the next. Let us assume that the government, whatever it is, truthfully, they said they could not get answers from the autopsy and toxicology. Although earlier they had said that the autopsy is inconclusive, that's why they requested for toxicology. And now they said there is a possibility that Mohbad, the medication administered to Mohbad could have brought about his demise. What a world. A world of wickedness. Now, in all of this, Wunmi is comfortable, sitting down, ready to harvest, ready to enjoy, ready to take advantage of the demise of Mohbad, ready to inherit Mohbad. How so? How so? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. What nonsense is this? Wow. The world of wickedness. Well, I don't know what you guys think of this one, because right now it seems they have thrown people into a kind of loop, and it's like a circle turning around, or maybe they believe that by putting out this, it will dash the hopes of people in getting justice for Mohbad, and people will not question anymore. In fact, right now, people are talking about private autopsy and toxicology. It's not cheap. People are ready to donate money. Is it going to cost $50,000? People are ready to donate. They said, this one, we will get it done. We are not going to stop. And if it becomes this bad, I don't know what will happen next, because this will shape how people see government, how people believe in the system. Not that they really believe in it, but this might shred or dash to pieces the last bit of that connection to the system. And everyone will go wild. Like, if you RIP, you're on your own. As long as you're not a member of the criminal fraternity, either as a business person, popular, you got your money from Monopoly, or as a politician, criminal that have looted, or from whatever. So people will begin to maybe jangle justice, because the system will not get you your justice. People will take laws into their hands, and that's dangerous, because you might hurt the innocent. because the system will not get you justice. If the system gets people justice, gets the victim justice, people will believe in it. Then you will not see anyone taking laws into their hands. But with this, people want to take laws into their hands because they don't believe in the system. Look at what has happened. Look at how terrible it is. No one will trust a structure that is structureless. Just giving it structure. They say, oh, this is a structure, but you look at it, it's structureless. A system that is created not to work for you. The governor said, oh, it's not about emotion. Yes, I understand that part of it, that there are certain things that we might not be privy to and they don't want to come to a certain conclusion. But in all of this, they are not sure. Then that's a mystery then. Can a grown-up man just RIP like that without anything wrong? Health crisis issues? He just spied like that. So are we going to now believe that something spiritual happened to him? Something diabolic was used or something happened to him? Or we just conclude on he reacted to this because this was not good, somehow it could have cost him some reaction here and there, and because of their lack of understanding, they poured water on him. He was feeling hot, he was reacting, and the nurse said, let me go get some other medication to administer. Before she could come back, they had rushed him to the hospital. Mohbad had cried, all of that. What is this medication? Is it an adulterated one that was administered to Mohbad? Because we have fake medication all over the place too, as we have fake nurses, unqualified nurses. We have fake medication. We have to look at these things too. But the toxicology and autopsy should be able to tell us what was administered. From the reaction of it, this is how this reacts. If this is going to be this way, this is what it will give. These are the effects here and there. Maybe somehow they have been unable to get this from the liver, the kidneys, the heart, the tissues, and some of the parts that I don't really know. So sad. Justice for Mohbad.